It's 8:30. So welcome to my vineyard ramble on Monday morning. As you can see, it's a lovely, lovely day. Just look at that sky. And you may just be able to hear the wind in the mic. So it is a little bit windy, which is really good news because this is a north wind or the tramontana. So the tramontana, so called because it blows through the mountains. It blows through the Massif Central and the Pyrenees and then comes down here. It's a lovely north wind. So the north wind is back and that's the best news for a Monday morning. But let me just locate where we are. So for those of you who know the area, this is the main road into Tuchon from Narbonne. So there we're looking towards Tuchon. Behind that we can just pick out Paziol in the background. Pan round behind in this direction is the Roussillon. It's about 10 kilometers away, and behind the Toteville Tower is Perpignan, and then you go down to the coast. So the coast is Torres, Saint-Cyprien, Collioure, Banyuls. That's all over in that direction. Pan round, we've got the Mediterranean behind these cliffs. It takes about an hour's drive to get down there. You can go to lovely beaches like Le Cat or La Franquie, or which you may know, La Palme, even the village of Fitou is down there. And then can you just make out the wonderful castle, the Château d'Aguilar. Looks absolutely amazing today. So that's an 11th century Cathar castle, just outside Tuchon. Pan round, and in this direction we have my car. Hello, Diane. And behind that we have Narbonne in this direction. So that's the road going in Narbonne direction, and pan round, and we have the wonderful Toche mountain, the limestone mountain rising to 900 meters. So great to see you all, and let's get rambling. So I don't know how your weekend was. We had a lovely little trip out, went down to the beach, had a lovely, lovely weekend. But today I thought I'd just catch up with Jean Marc. So Jean Marc is somewhere in this vineyard, and as he does most Monday mornings, he's just out checking. Even though the weather looks fantastic today, we did have a very bad week last week. It rained, it was very hot. The weekend it didn't get any better. Jean Marc went out, he was spraying and protecting the vines as best we can with our organic, as we're in organic farming. So he was out on Friday night, Saturday morning, and then as soon as he'd finished, it started to rain again. So it's been really challenging, and we thought we'd just come into this vineyard when I can find Jean Marc, and we can just show you the effects of that on the vine. So it's going to be another mildew Monday, but as it doesn't happen that often down here, I just thought interesting to show you the effects. So let's have a look. Let's see who's been in the vineyard. Can you see these? You can see the soil at the same time. So you can see the little footprints here. So guess who's been in our vineyard? Little footprints here. See that? And the soil, you can see it's actually quite alluvial. We're in the valley bottom. Anybody picked up who those feet were? And it's already quite hot actually. It's already about, feels about 17 degrees. It's going to get up to 25 this afternoon. So I hope I'm finally bringing you some sunshine over there. So the little footprints. And then let's have a look at the vine, so I can tell you more about this vine. So I know a lot of you have sort of joined. This is actually my 8th week, so I've been doing the rambles for 8 weeks now. Some of you may have just joined this morning or dropped in last week, but just to let you know, so Domaine Jones is 14 very tiny small plots of old vines, so exclusively old vines, and we're based between Narbonne and Perpignan. And so because they're old and up to 110 years old, so we have lots of traditional grape varieties. That's all we have at Domaine Jones. And for those of you who've been following here, so you tell me which vineyard we're in today. Can you see this leaf? If I flatten it out, it's very round. It's almost like a plate. You see this one is particularly just like a circle. See that? Quite waxy on the top. And if you turn it over, very smooth on the back. So no hairs on the Grenache, yes, Paul. So we are in a Grenache vineyard. The vines are about 70 years old. It's actually Grenache red Grenache, white Grenache and grey Grenache. So the 3 types of Grenache in this vineyard. But there's not only that, there's also some carignan. So there's some very old 70-year-old carignan vines in the vineyard as well. So it's really a very big mixture. See here the lovely, and I've already forgotten. You did tell me what these are. They mallow flowers, I think. Just look at that, just lovely. And shall we have a quick emoji competition as I can see Jean Marc down here, catch up with Jean Marc. I think the first person to put some shopping bags, so 4 shopping bags on the screen this morning to celebrate the shops opening up again I'm talking in the UK. But 4 shopping bags for you. First person to get 4 shopping bags as we walk down. Look at this, just take in the wonderful, wonderful view. Yeah, Bertie the Schnoodle, 4 shopping bags, congratulations. So here, as I say, like at Domaine Jones, we just have old vines. It's almost like a nice retirement home for the old vines after they've been in high production, a lot of them in the cooperative here in the village of Tuchon, and then we take them over and we give them a lovely little retirement. But you can see this one here, it's having a bit of a lie down, it's having a bit of a rest. And this one here. They're all shapes and sizes. And if you have any questions this morning, please put them in the little box at the bottom of the screen with a question mark on it, and then we can pick them up. Morning, Jean Marc.
Morning.
Hi. So because of the wind, it's actually a bit gusty. So Jean Marc at some stage is going to be standing quite close to me, so you won't see him. So don't worry if he disappears, but you can still be able to hear him. So we thought we'd just catch up with you, Jean Marc, while you're doing your Monday morning check in the vineyards. And
what happened?
you're looking what happened.
And what to do for...
So you're just checking to see what you're going to do in the week. So have you found anything that you'd sort of want to show us?
Yeah, that's it.
I think it might start with M. Ça commence avec un M, non? Ce que tu veux nous montrer?
Yes.
Okay, let's have a look. Hein?
Là, j'ai regardé, en fait, j'ai trouvé, il y a pas mal de taches sur les feuilles, qui
Ouais.
sont des foyers secondaires maintenant. Et j'ai même trouvé un raisin qui était touché.
Oh, okay. So, I did mention today that we'd be looking at mildew. It's sort of mildew Monday. Jean Marc says he's found some spots on the leaves and some secondary spots as well, which is not good. But he's also found a bunch of grapes that's been attacked by mildew. So this doesn't happen that often down here, but as it has happened this year, it's been a really challenging year. I just think we need to go and have a look and see it while it's. But first of all.
Ça, on peut voir, ça c'était une tache, un foyer primaire.
So if you see here, this is some of the first stains that came out of mildew. So that was the first attack. C'était il y a combien de temps à peu près?
Je sais pas, 3 semaines.
So this was about 3 weeks ago. You can see that now it's dried up. C'est sec.
Ça c'est sec, hein, c'est pas virulent.
It's sec and it's no longer active.
C'est pas très actif.
It's all dried. It's not very active. Still a little bit active, a bit white there. When it's white, it's active. So it's downy mildew, which is white.
Par contre, à côté.
And then if you just look next to it, so we've seen this is the first attack we had. That's what the spots are looking like now. Because we've been able to protect it, they've dried up. But if you look at the second attack, can you see those sort of, they're like oil spots? And they've come out, and you can see here, yeah, there's lots more of them. Il y en a pas mal là sur la feuille même. Il y en a 1, 2.
Oui, mais il y en a.
So you can see that, and that's the secondary attack of mildew. That normally, well, we don't get any mildew at all. But if the weather had been good after the first attack, we would not have moved on to the second attack. But because it's continued to rain, it's continued to be warm, it's been just perfect for mildew to develop. So unfortunately, we've now got this second attack. Oh yeah, you can see là. So here, can you see that? It's basically got really spotty leaves. So the leaves are like just, let's get some light. Si on met la lumière sur les feuilles. That's it. So you can see there that we've sort of got spotted like
Par contre,
spotty dick
la plupart du temps, c'est sur
leaves.
les jeunes pousses.
So most of the time on the secondary outbreak that we've got, it's on the younger leaves, so fresh leaves,
Qui n'ont pas été protégés. Parce que là, au stade.
so it's on fresh leaves that haven't been protected. Et pourquoi ils n'étaient pas protégés?
Parce que c'est pas les traiter tous les jours. Les produits qu'on utilise, c'est uniquement du contact.
So these fresh leaves that have come out, I just said to Jean Marc, so why weren't these protected? Why have they cut it? And he sort of laughed, going, you can't be out every single day spraying the vines. The vines are growing at a rate of knots down here with this weather. And so you will have growth from the vine, new growth from the vine, that between the times that you can get out and actually protect the vine, they are going to, unfortunately, because of the weather conditions, they have been able to develop mildew. And that's not because Jean Marc hasn't been working so hard. It's basically we can't get round all of the vineyards at the same time. And also, when it's windy, you can't go out and spray. So today, for example, it looks lovely and calm, but if you look carefully, you can see those vines are sort of waving about a bit, so it's too windy to go out and protect the vines, so we can't even go out and protect them. And all this week, I think, yeah, we can't. It's going to be windy all week, so we can't get out this week to protect. Et allez parler pour le bio, non?
Après, disons que là, on voit que après les raisins ne sont pas.
On peut mettre là.
Les raisins ne sont pas touchés.
D'accord.
Ce n'est pas. C'est à un stade ou à ce stade-là.
But you can see one of the most important things is the grapes in this vine, they're not harmed in any way. You see they're lovely and healthy. They're looking really good. Ça c'est du grenache ou du carignan?
C'est un carignan.
It's a carignan. So these are carignan grapes. You can see they're lovely and healthy. So the danger is with mildew now, again, if it carries on raining and being warm, this is just going to spread even further. The danger would be that the leaves then drop off, so that the grapes can't ripen enough, and the grapes will be a little higher in acidity because they won't be able to ripen because there's not enough leaves. Or it can be that the grapes now are resistant at that stage when they're little peas, but if the mildew gets onto the stalks here, it can shrivel the stalks and then the grapes will drop off. So Jean Marc says that when he was walking around, he found a bunch of grapes. He can't remember. Oh, well, hopefully he'll be able to find it. No, mais c'est pas grave. Just looking to see where. So fortunately, there's not too many bunches of grapes that have been affected. As you can see, Jean Marc can't find the one that he was looking for. Ah, found it. Somebody says, why can't... Oups, il y a quelqu'un qui te demande pourquoi tu peux pas protéger quand il fait du vent.
Parce qu'en fait, ça...
So somebody asked why can't we protect it? Yeah.
Ça va,
Parce que c'est un poudre, c'est liquide.
C'est liquide, mais c'est micronisé, donc c'est comme une petite brume.
Yeah, so basically to protect them, we're organic, and so to protect the grapes from mildew, we use a copper sulfate solution, and then we sort of spray it. It's a very fine mist that we spray over the vines, and if you've got any wind at all, that fine mist is going to just blow away and it won't actually go.
D'un côté, ça arrive pas, et de l'autre.
Yeah, so basically if the wind is blowing, you're going to get none on one side and a lot of it on the other side. And so any slight amount of wind, it just means that you cannot spray accurately, and you need to be really accurate. When you're treating mildew, you basically have to get all of the powder onto the leaves.
Il faut maîtriser la dérive.
Oui, il faut maîtriser la dérive. You have to control the output of. So Jean Marc has found something here.
Ça, c'est un dégât sur une grappe.
Okay, so let me just focus. Attends, tu peux le tenir. Il faut juste un peu de temps que l'appareil. So just get that into focus. Can you see there? So this is a bunch of grape that has been affected by mildew. So you can see at the end of it. Vas-y. Let's take that off.
Parce que ça, cette partie est morte.
Because this is fine here, but you can see this bit here, it's just shriveled up.
Et ça, c'est bon.
Shriveled up and died. So basically the rest of it is fine, it's just the tiny end bit. But that, if you imagine, if it's on a big scale, if you can't control it at all, that could happen to all of your grapes, and that's when it can be catastrophic. So on est inquiet mais pas...
Non, parce que disons que ce sont des attaques secondaires, mais qui ont principalement fait quelques taches sur les feuilles. Donc ce n'est pas très grave. La météo annonce une semaine de vent, donc pour le mildiou, c'est plutôt bon.
Oh, okay. So I asked Jean Marc if he was worried about it for this week, and he said no, because we do have secondary outbreak, but it's still under control at the moment. It's not too big. But also this week, although we can't get out and spray, it is going to be windy, and mildew doesn't like wind, so that's going to stop it spreading any further.
Par contre, maintenant, il faudrait pouvoir souffler.
But now we need to get out and sulfur. That's the next thing for odium. So that's the other fungal disease that we can get, and that's going to be, ça va devenir plus grave que pas grave, mais plus...
C'est une période qui peut être sensible contre l'oïdium. Normalement, samedi prochain, il n'y a pas de vent. Donc
yeah.
falloir...
So poor Jean Marc, like it's going to be windy all week, so he can't get out in the vineyards. And guess when the wind's going to drop? Saturday and Sunday. So we know what we'll be doing this weekend. Okay, right, I think, yes, that's coming to the end of the ramble. Let me just have a quick look at the questions. Right, let's have, such a lovely day. So, Brad, il te demande si certains cépages sont plus sensibles au mildiou.
Oui,
yes.
Le carignan et le grenache sont plus sensibles que la syrah.
So the carignan and the grenache are a lot more sensitive than the syrah, for example. So yeah, it is very dependent on the variety. So Hugh, il demande à quelle vitesse ça se développe le mildiou une fois que c'est établi.
Disons que pour que le mildiou s'établisse, il y a des temps d'incubaison qui sont relativement longs, puisque ça peut prendre entre 10 et 20 jours pour les foyers primaires.
So to actually get it on the leaves, that's quite long. It can be between about 10 days
10, 15
before you sort of realise that you've got it, before it's actually visible at the beginning.
Mais maintenant où on est sur les foyers secondaires.
But now that we're on the second stage of it,
et que la température est impeccable, avec souvent des averses ou des orages.
And up until now, the temperature had been perfect. There'd been just a little bit of rain. It'd been perfect mildew conditions.
4 à 5 jours suffisent pour
so now, like between 4 and 5 days is enough for the mildew to spread a lot, to spread rapidly.
Des fois, tu ne vois rien aujourd'hui et demain, après-demain.
Yeah, so like Jean Marc saying, he could go into a vineyard, see nothing today, and then come back tomorrow and it could be covered. It's sort of that quick. Mais là, aujourd'hui, comme il y a le vent, les vignes où il y en a...
Par exemple, samedi à midi, il y a eu un orage. Donc samedi, ça fait dimanche, lundi, mardi. Demain, peut-être, on peut voir des nouveaux foyers de contamination.
So the last rain we had was on Saturday, just after he'd finished protecting the vines. So on Saturday, we just had a sprinkling of rain, just enough for mildew, for the mildew to develop. And so Jean Marc says that's going to take a couple of days to come out. It was wet, and then the sun came out, perfect for mildew. So perhaps in 4 or 5 days, like tomorrow or Wednesday, we're going to see another secondary outbreak in some of the vines that didn't have it. It might be possible. We don't know. You don't know until you see it. Yeah, official wine unicorn. Hi there in California. Thanks for staying up. How much loss do you get each year from mildew? C'est quoi la perte chaque année de mildew?
Non, en 2018, c'est une des rares années où nous avons perdu entre 10 et 15%.
2018.
2018, oui.
Right. So hardly any. En général, on perd pas. Yeah. So normally, normally we do not lose anything to mildew. So normally this is not a big problem for us. In a normal year, we would lose nothing. We wouldn't even treat in some years against mildew because it's not a major problem here. Jean Marc remembers the last year where it was a problem was 2018, where we lost about 10 to 15%, and then so that was 18 in 2020, but they're really exceptional years. It's not a major problem.
Mais pour le moment, cette année, on n'a rien perdu.
And he says this year, so far we haven't lost anything. So he's pretty confident that we haven't, apart from that little bunch, à part la grappe que tu viens de
c'est insignifiant.
So apart from the little tiny grape the grape that he just put on the floor, it's not a major problem this year so far. So I think, you know, we're feeling pretty positive about it. Adam, il te demande qu'une fois la feuille affectée avec le mildiou, est-ce qu'on peut le reverser? Est-ce qu'on peut rattraper ce qui était? No. So Adam asks, once the leaf has been affected, can we reverse the process? No, you cannot. You cannot cure in organic farming. You cannot cure mildew. Once you have it, you have it. All you can do is dry it out so that it doesn't spread. So here's an example here.
Yeah, but for example, ça c'est le vent qui a cassé.
So this is the wind that's broken the leaf.
Les quelques taches de mildiou que nous avons, ça ne va pas faire plus de dégâts que ce que le vent.
So back to the question before. So Jean Marc says that this is wind damage, and for the moment he says the mildew that we have is not going to do any more damage than the wind has done in a normal year. Et pour rattraper, donc la question c'était pour rattraper une fois qu'on a la tâche, on peut pas, ça sèche.
Mais même en conventionnel.
Morning everybody.
Même en conventionnel, une fois que tu as la tâche, tu ne peux pas la rattraper.
Okay. So yeah, once it's not because we're organic that you can't actually get rid of the mildew once you've got it. It's basically you cannot get rid of it once you've got it. It's basically mildew. It's like a mold. So mildew is a mold, but it's inside the plant. So it's inside the leaf. So you can't just sort of, by the time you see it, the plant is dead, or the bit of plant that the mold is on is already dead by the time you see it. Donc le vent, ça va aider à sécher les feuilles, donc réduire le mildew. So yes, Lady Littler, that is going to help. The wind is going to help with the mildew. Est-ce que Grumpy Amazon Lisa says, est-ce qu'on devrait enlever les nouvelles feuilles qui sont? So now Jean Marc saying that basically, and the question was, should the newly infected leaves be removed? Thanks for that, Lisa. The answer is no, because there are so many of them. There's quite a lot that do have spots, so we can't. We need to keep the leaves on the vines as well.
En fait, maintenant notre difficulté, c'est d'être vigilant et de surveiller s'il y a de l'humidité, s'il y a des pluies, pour protéger. Donc il faut continuer à protéger tant que jusqu'à mi-véraison, parce qu'après mi-véraison, il n'y a plus de.
So we need to be careful and keep protecting the vines up to when the grapes change colour, but we can reduce the amount of sprays that we do now. So we've passed the critical stage, so we can reduce the amount, but we'll still be looking at it and being very attentive right up to until the grapes start to change colour. A question from Kaza here. Who says, you grow organically, but are your wines labelled organic? Very good question. Now, I'm in organic conversion, so although we've been farming my vineyards organically since we started in 2009, we only applied for certification a couple of years ago. So I have one more vintage, and then in 2021 I can put the certificate, the label on, or the logo, organic logo on the bottles. So I've got another year to go, but all the farming is done absolutely 100% organically. But Jean Marc's wines from his vineyards, Domaine Jean Marc Astric, they were certified organic last year. So they do have the organic stamp actually on the bottles of wine, because you need 4 years to be certified. And then just one final question from Dan. How does mildew affect the final wine? Donc, comment est-ce que le mildiou peut altérer le vin?
Ça peut, donc, s'il y a beaucoup de grappes qui sont touchées, ce n'est pas bon au niveau de la qualité. Et s'il y a trop de feuillage qui est abîmé, ça peut aussi avoir une action sur la photosynthèse, sur la maturité.
Yeah. So I think the main problem is actually getting the grapes to ripen. If you have too much mildew on the leaves, because the mildew will kill the leaves will drop off, and then you won't have enough leaves to ripen the grapes. So you'll have a more acidic style of wine because the grapes will not ripen. The other problem is, like you saw with the bunches, if it attacks the bunches basically fall off. So you would have a reduced yield as well.
Si tu ne les tries pas aussi, ça fait comme de la pourriture et c'est pas
And it's
bon.
basically, mildew is mold. You know, it's like, you know, sometimes you get mold on a bit of cheese or mold in the bathroom. That's what mildew is. So you basically, when we harvest, we really need to be careful that there's no mildewed grapes, you know, coming into the winery. And we take them out. We do everything by hand, so we take them out so they wouldn't be there.
Souvent, au vendange, le mildiou se transforme en botrytis.
And often mildew coming up to harvest will just turn into rot. So that's we will be really, really vigilant at Domaine Jones just to make sure that no mildew grapes are mixed in. But as we pick by hand and we have a sorting table, we'll be able to sort that out. Oh, it's been quite a masterclass. So thank you very much, Jean Marc, this morning on mildew. I just felt it was interesting to come out because it doesn't happen here very often, so it's sort of quite novel in a way, but to see the different stages of mildew. So I hope you've enjoyed this quick sort of look at mildew itself. Later on in the week, so tomorrow we're going to be in the macabre. It's going to be macabre mardi, so if anybody wants to know more about the macabre, and on Friday at 8:30 on the rock tasting, thanks to those who joined me, we will be tasting the macabre. So it's going to be macabre tomorrow in the vineyard and on Friday on the rock. And then Jean Marc, I think you've got something in your pocket. Can you hold it? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Jean Marc just is holding all of mine. So the big moment, what we've been waiting for. So, it's going to fly around in the wind. Can you see that? This is the first ever map of Domaine Jones's vineyards printed on a linen tea towel. It's flapping around in the wind, but if I zoom in quickly, you've got the name of the vines, and then the great thing here, you've actually got the map. So when I say I'm in the Donneuve vineyard, you can actually look on the map and say, whoa, I'm going to join you. I know where you are. You're here. See that? Donneuve. So these are going to go onto the site this afternoon. So if anybody's interested, they'll be up on the site this afternoon. Then you can actually follow me around. Brilliant. Or you can clean the dishes with it. Dry the dishes. Ou on peut sécher les... la vaisselle avec aussi.
Oui.
Yeah. Okay, lovely. Thanks, everybody. I've gone massively over time. Oh, and it's got the loop. You see that? A nice hanging loop. Massively over time today. Same time, different vine tomorrow in the macabre. And that's me just signing off and going to go and have a cup of coffee.